Welcome to this Network Instruments presentation. My name is Charles Thompson. Today I'm going to be walking you through just a few of the recent enhancements which have been made to the Observer platform. Specifically, we'll be focusing on those enhancements which are targeted at helping IT organizations to address their application performance management challenges. Now, the Observer platform is comprised of a number of different components. It starts off along the top with the Observer Reporting Server, which is the aggregate performance monitoring platform. It has the ability to take in information feeds from packet-based data sources, flow-based information, and resource metrics, and combine that information together to provide an overall depiction of the IT infrastructure. Now, drilling down from there, Gigastore represents the retrospective network analysis component of the Network Instruments Observer offering. Observer, the troubleshooting and analysis functionality, and Observer Infrastructure provides the device-level detail. Now, when we start to talk about application performance management, one of the most concerning statistics always resides around root cause analysis and how much time organizations spend trying to identify the source of the problem before they could even begin the process of actually solving the issue. Track Research polled 500 network professionals and asked, how do you spend your time troubleshooting issues? Almost 42% of the time spent troubleshooting problems was spent isolating the root cause. This obviously points to a huge amount of time that organizations are spending just to try and get to the point of applying advanced analytics and really solving problems. And when we look at the kind of challenges organizations faced while trying to identify the root cause, those issues ranged from the time spent correlating performance information to the number of false positives which were presented to simply having too much information that was simply not relevant to the problem that they were trying to solve. Now, when we take a look at how Network Instruments is helping organizations to solve these problems, one of the most exciting new capabilities is called cross-domain correlations. Cross-domain correlations are designed to help an organization to better understand what impacts the end-user experience by combining information from packet-based data sources, flow-based records, and resource monitoring into a single, concise display, where the relationships between these various metrics can be quickly identified by the user. An example of this would be combining together response time information, which has been gathered by packet-based data, conversation statistics as gathered by flow-based devices, and CPU, memory, and disk access times as gathered by resource monitoring. By combining all this information together, an organization could quickly understand the relationship that exists between resource contention and the end-user experience, and an IT organization could better understand where to invest their resources to have a more positive impact on the end-user experience. Would adding additional bandwidth help to address the problem? Is the application resource constrained and thus a larger server or more storage should be purchased? Or being able to quickly identify whether or not an application's design simply doesn't lend itself well to being deployed into a virtual environment. Next is the capability of global search. Because IT organizations have so much raw data available, providing a simple, logical way to be able to parse through all that information and retrieve only the data that's of interest and relevant to a particular problem is one of the more time-consuming tasks that an IT engineer is faced with when trying to perform root cause analysis. Global search allows an organization to interface with their performance metrics in much the same way that they interface with the internet, through a logical search dialogue. If we take a look at this inside of the interface, you can see that I enter into my report by simply defining a time frame that's of interest, and then I have the ability to specify my search criteria. In this particular case, I'm interested in the performance of one server whose IP address I know. I perform the search, and Observer Reporting Server queries all the available information that it has about this system, from all its packet-based data sources, flow-based records, resource monitoring, which would include information from WMI, SNMP, JMX, and so on. The search results are then returned, and in this particular case, I'm looking at response time information versus the number of total connections inside of a cross-domain correlation display, as well as conversation and application transaction information, which has been gathered by flow-based data sources. Being able to quickly query across all the various data sources that Observer Reporting Server has available to it and present only the relevant metrics that the engineer is interested in at that moment in time means that the troubleshooting process can be dramatically shortened. The root cause can be identified more quickly, and the issue can be addressed in a timely manner. Finally, Network Instruments has always strived to provide detailed information about the application protocols which are being communicated inside of an IT environment. Our application transaction analysis provides detailed information about the transactions which are occurring inside of the environment. We've recently added support for two AAA protocols, radius and diameter, which will allow organizations to better understand not only the performance of these applications, but what types of issues are occurring inside of the application transactions themselves that could be having a negative impact on the end user's experience. For more information on these and other capabilities of the Network Instruments Application Performance Management Solution, visit us online at networkinstruments.com.